I'm in Newland, North Carolina, population 700, and really the heart of Christmas in this part of the world. This is where all the Christmas trees come from. I stood on this spot in September of 2018, introducing an RFD TV Christmas special called Larry's Tree, A Christmas Journey to the White House. It was a story of a remarkable farmer who had won what is really the Super Bowl for Christmas tree farmers. He was selected to provide the official White House Christmas tree for the Blue Room. It's quite an accomplishment. This area somehow seems to have a lock on that contest, though. They've sent 14 trees to the Blue Room. We're going to tell you how they did it. When I filmed that show, I also met a man who's become one of my best friends, Larry Smith. You've seen him on this show before. You'll probably see him again. Today, we're going to show you where Larry's from. We're going to introduce you to some of the other people who make this little town really the heart of Christmas in this part of the world. Come on, let me take you where the food comes from and some other things. Told you I met Larry Smith in September of 2018. We kind of been constant companions ever since. I was always worried that someday it was going to lead right where it has and we'd be right where we are now. This is the historic old Avery County Jail in Newland. It's the county seat of Avery County. This is testament to the way that they do things around here. They honor their heritage, they honor their history. Much of that history is agricultural, and we're going to tell you that story if we can find a way out of here. Larry, you got a plan?
I've got a plan.
All right, I'm counting on him. It's August in Newland, North Carolina, and it's not hot, but it's not cool. But everywhere we look, it's very easy to get in the Christmas spirit. This whole place looks like Christmas. I mean, you live in Christmas town, kind of.
That's correct. And when most people shooting fireworks on the 4th of July, that sort of starts us back into what I would call our busy season. We want to tag the trees that we're going to harvest that year. And as you'll see here, we've got a pole we measure with, and we put different colored ribbons in the tree itself, and that lets us know we're going to harvest the tree that year, and it tells us the height of that tree and the quality.
So anywhere in your fields that we look, we're going to see these ribbons. We'll see red ones, white ones, blue ones. That is, if it's got a ribbon on it, it's going to be harvested this year.
That's correct.
And the color of the ribbon is going to tell you how tall it is, so you've got an easy mark and not sit there and have to measure them when you get them back out of the field.
Correct. That'll help in our inventory. That tells us how many trees we're going to have for that season, and we know basically how many we need because most of our trees are retail, so we know our number that we need, and so once we reach that number, then we pretty much cut it off, and then those trees will be left till next year because we can't get a tree that's 6 to 8 foot in 1 year. We're on a 10-year rotation.
And let's talk about some of that, because I think people look, they would think this has got to be the easiest farming that there is. You plant trees, they take a long time to grow. You come back and cut them down when they're ready. What people don't understand is that that famous Christmas tree shape doesn't just happen by accident. And the density of these branches, how full and lush these trees are, doesn't just happen by accident. A tree like this, how old is this tree?
From seed in nature, you're looking at probably 11 years old, 11,
11-year-old tree by seed in nature?
Yes. When they're seedlings, we can speed up Mother Nature a little bit. We can grow them in a greenhouse and we can get 3 flushes that first year. So a seedling is generally 5 years old when we put it in the field. So that tree, we can gain 2 more years. So actually, by nature, we set out a 5-year-old seedling. In reality, that tree's really just 3 calendar years.
Your goal is to have enough of every kind of tree that would be in demand. What is the most popular Christmas tree? What are most people looking for?
The majority of people's looking for a tree that's 6 to 8 feet. Most people's ceilings are 8 feet, and the market has changed. The width of at the base of the tree is slender. They've got couches or end tables, and they don't want to block their big screen TV.
So now
up
they
on the
want
wall.
trees that aren't this big at the bottom. They want them that are this big at the bottom.
And there's an allusion to that. We tell people on the tree lot, or when they do a choosing cut, the sky's the ceiling out here.
Hi, I'm Chef Holly Shute with Georgia Grown with the Georgia Department of Agriculture. And today we're going to be featuring sweet Georgia Vidalia onions. We've got some sweet Vidalia onions that have been peeled, and we're going to use an ice cream scoop to scoop the center out of them. We've got some fresh basil. We're just going to rough chop that. Chopped up tomatoes, cooked diced chicken, some fresh mozzarella diced. Sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on that. Add our fresh chopped basil. I'm going to mix that up and then fill our Vidalia onions. I'm going to put these in a cast iron skillet and pop them in a 350-degree oven for 30 to 40 minutes. You want them to be tender with a fork. We have a great entree, side dish, or just a snack. Enjoy your sweet Vidalia onions.
Vidalia onions, hand-planted, hand-picked by chefs.
I met Rusty in the summer of '78.
Yep.
I did an internship over at Grandfather Golf and Country Club, and I think I bugged them so much they offered me a job. Rusty and I worked together every day from daylight to way past dark. I mean, we put in a lot of long days on that course, and so I think we set our first Christmas trees together in '79 or '80.
We did, but Larry's responsible for me basically getting into the Christmas tree business, and you know, I lived with you.
Oh, exactly.
One summer down here on cow camp, and we got started, and I planted 300 trees in my garden space, and that was in about '79 or '80, somewhere in there, and it's grown quite a bit since then. But Larry and I, we went together in 1980 and bought 300 Christmas trees. Didn't have a baler, didn't have any tools to harvest trees. Cut those trees, get rich quick. We're gonna sell these trees and make a ton of money. Went to Lenore, spent 3 or 4 weeks selling these trees and doing everything, and we barely had enough money to pay for everything. Didn't make anything. I told him, if you ever mention a Christmas tree to me again, I'll kick your butt. And he said the same thing to me, and now look.
We both got out of the golf course industry and become full-time growers. I think the last day I worked was when our boss fired me, so I've been in it full-time since 1982, and you?
1992.
I was playing golf that day.
I lost my job on the golf course and didn't realize it at the time, but it's the biggest blessing of my life. Each state that grows Christmas trees, they'll have their state contest. And if you went out there, you'll get to go to the national, and you win there, then you present to the White House. But it took us quite a few years before we had a product that would win in North Carolina.
The only rules on that basically are the trees needs to be 6 to 8 foot in height, and it needs to have a handle from 6 to 12 inches. So other than that, it's beauty in the eye of the beholder. So we've learned a lot of what we feel like the judges and the other growers are looking for, and sort of develop their skills over time. North Carolina's went 13 times to the White House. That's more than any other state. No, 14. I was 13. I was lucky 13. You were 14. So we've represented North Carolina in the White House in the Blue Room 14 times.
That's pretty special. Pretty special.
We competed against each other in the finals in Des Moines, Iowa, and in Green Bay. We were in the final.
I had a Colorado Blue Spruce up there in a nice tree, and I won my category, and actually was a reserve champion up there. And Larry was a grand champion up there. Beautiful tree. Larry got to take a tree to the Trumps, and I got to take a tree to the Pences. The cool thing about going to the vice president residency, you get to meet the whole vice president family, Vice President Pence and his wife, and you go to his house, and they have all these diplomats, and they have basically a cocktail party, and you get to mingle and talk with everybody, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I got to take 28 people, and that was unbelievable.
As you were standing there, and your family was there, you were with the President and the First Lady, standing in front of the White House, the People's House, and you saw this military processional coming up that driveway, horse and wagon, bringing your tree from right down that hill to the White House to be America's Christmas tree that year. Is there any way that you can describe what you felt standing there in that moment?
Well, I remember when you were here 4 years ago and we were filming, and the day before we left, the tree had been cut, and I was behind the truck that was hauling the tree up there. And as I recall, I think I knew it was real. I knew I would be there at the White House.
Pretty special.
But, you know, was it going to be real?
And it got there.
It did.
I will say this, I think it goes back to being a farmer. In my opinion, no greater occupation. I don't care what you're farming. Other farmers are going to help you get your crop in. They're going to help you when times are bad. And like I say, Larry's like family. I think you'll find that throughout our whole industry.
I was there when Rusty's kids was born. He was there when mine was born. He was in my first wedding.
Yeah, I remember those light blue tux.
We'll have to.
Can you believe that? I still got some of those pictures.
I've got those pictures.
In 2020, Schumann Farms was very blessed and honored by our peers to be named Vidalia Onion Grower of the Year. It truly takes a dedicated team of people who are willing to fall on the sword every day to do whatever it takes, regardless of what time of day it is, what day of the week it is. I mean, it just doesn't wait on you. Even when you're not on the farm, you're thinking about the farm. People say, yeah, you guys are Vidalia onion farmers and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, yeah, we are farmers. That's one thing that we do. But to be a farmer, you have to be, you own a business, you're in business. You have to be prolific at sales and marketing. You have to be an agronomist, engineer, problem solver, being vertically integrated where we touch every aspect of the business, from literally buying the seed to literally packing and shipping that last box of onions, putting it on a truck, taking it to market all over North America. Yes, we are farmers, but we are so much more.
Sweet potato cookies, sweet potato pound bread.
How many ways can you use a North Carolina sweet potato? North Carolina sweet potatoes are not just so good, they're so good for you. We've known that for a long time. That's why North Carolina farms 2 out of every 3 sweet potatoes grown in America.
Mashed sweet potato.
North Carolina sweet potatoes. And don't forget, it's just one word. You can look it up.
Sweet potato pie.
Mr. Harry Yates, the folks in the Christmas tree industry around here call you the Godfather. Now, I don't know if that's because they're afraid of you or more, as I suspect, because they respect you, because you've been in this game for a minute. When did you go into farming?
1962, I planted white pine, 12 years old. Planted some white pine as a 4-H project. 6, 7 years later, harvested those white pine, and then I went on to college at ASU, but I started working for a landscaper there in the summertime, and I was 16 years old. And he kept telling me that, he kept saying, Harry, this tree business is going to boom. At that time, there was very, very little in the way of trees. And finally, in 1975, I planted trees and have progressed through the industry.
From what I hear, the Fraser fir wasn't even thought of as a Christmas tree or as potential for a Christmas tree. We see it now, and it's got that perfect shape, and it's full, and it's green, and it's lush, and it has that beautiful aroma, and it's hard to think of a more perfect specimen of a Christmas tree than a Fraser fir, but that wasn't always the case, was it?
No, it was not. I can remember going to national Christmas tree meetings in the 70s and early 80s, and Fraser fir was not even recognized at that time. We kind of laughed at, really, because of our mountains and all, and people thought that we just couldn't plant the numbers to really have an impact in the national Christmas tree industry. But obviously they found out that wasn't the case, and Fraser fir has gone in my career, in my lifetime, from the bottom of the totem pole to the top of the totem.
Because of agricultural growth, because of the industry, because of having an economic heart like a Christmas tree industry, progress came to Newland and came to Avery County. It pretty much arrived with the dawn of this Christmas tree industry.
It's hard to believe the journey that has been taken in really a short amount of time in the scheme of things. And I mean, I too remember no power, no bathrooms, outhouses, the whole deal very well. National Christmas Tree Contest has been very important to the promotion of our real trees nationwide. And Fraser fir has benefited probably more than anybody, obviously, because of the 14 years that North Carolina's won the national contest.
Some people might think it was rigged, it happens so often.
Well, it could very well possible that that's the case.
I think in reality, they just grow fantastic Christmas trees around here.
Anytime we can talk Christmas trees, I'm ready to do it.
Well, you just did.
Where does the food come from? Lane Southern Orchards. Peaches, pecans, homemade baked goods, jams, wine, and candies, plus some of the finest Southern fare you'll find anywhere in our Peachtree Cafe, just off exit 142 on I-75 in Fort Valley, Georgia.
When you purchase Georgia-grown products, you support farmers, families, and this proud state we call home. Together, we will keep Georgia growing.
At Red Sun Farms, we understand how important it is to know where your food comes from. Our master growers select the very best non-GMO seeds to propagate and harvest in our high-tech greenhouses. Our farms are home to different varieties of tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers in both conventional and organic formats. Whether you're enjoying produce from our farms in Mexico, the USA, or Canada, your family will be enjoying the highest quality and most flavorful produce year-round. When you buy from Red Sun Farms, you will experience our seed-to-plate difference.
From North Carolina's mountains to the sea, When it comes to selecting and serving the best local foods and produce for you and your family, it's got to be NC.
I think the wrong guy is carrying this ball, Tommy. And this is your old stomping grounds. I mean, this is where your adventure in the world really started, right in this building.
Well, this is junior high school and junior varsity, and my first year of varsity basketball at Newland High School. Yes, this is the rock gym, and we had probably 600-700 people in here. People had to like stand back in order to take the ball out of bounds.
So they had to part the crowd so you could bring the ball into play.
Right, yeah, but it was that crowded.
We're going to try to explain to people how basketball and farming and all of this comes together in this one little spot in Newland, North Carolina.
Well, we were truly blessed. Yes.
Once again, the wrong man has the ball. So.
Well, I always liked a good pass from the guard.
Well, for those who don't know, you came up here in Newland. You're from farming people.
Oh,
How
yes.
long have your people been in these hills?
I think when they did the deal in the Avery Post is like 1725.
1725. Your father, your family, like so many others, most of the folks around here, were farming, and they were farming to raise what they could. You had to feed yourself, and you tried to grow something to sell to keep things going, and that's what farming was. It wasn't a big commercial operation where you were shipping with a contract to Walmart or anything like that.
Yeah,
y'all were just trying to get by.
Well, you're trying to make a living, and my Uncle June, he's the one who had the big farm, and he had 200 head of beef, and then we had 30, on average, had around 35 acres of cabbage. Mm-hmm. Now my junior and senior year, they went up to 60 acres of cabbage, and then when I went to NC State, Uncle June come to me and he says, I hope this basketball thing works out because I'm dropping back down again to 30 acres of cabbage.
Because the cabbage wasn't working out, so.
No, I was leaving and you lost half the labor
force. You might have been more than half the labor force.
Well, I was quite a bit of it. No, I wasn't. Yeah, but I was loading a lot of cabbage, and I was actually worked the mules in the field and everything. I mean.
So those were your days. That was your childhood here. You were a farm kid, and you were out like every other farm kid working on the farm.
Going to the fields at 10 years old, we made 25 cents an hour, which when you think about it, like a couple of dollars a day, that was awesome. I mean, the movie was like 25 cents and 50 cents to get in. You could get a full hamburger, French fries, and a Coke at Hobbs Cafe in Crossnore for 40 cents.
Right.
So, I mean, life was good. And
kind of living large at that point.
Living large, $10 a day.
But it's just a beautiful full circle story, Tommy. I mean, to be a country kid, a farm kid, to come up, you had a special gift. You worked hard to develop it. The things that you saw, the places that you went,
sure.
But you came home again and got behind the plow.
Yeah, well, agriculture is just, like I say, it's in your blood. And when you have something, when you're young, you're role models and stuff like that, and you just want to be a part of it. What's the joke? The farmer won the lottery of $1 million, and they said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm just going to keep farming until I get broke again, he said.
Where are we going?
Look for the train!
Well, we missed the train that apparently these people are here to get, and all that's left for us is a caboose. So Larry, old friend, I think we may be cooked. We may be cooling our heels in the Avery County Jail for another night. All in all, there's a whole lot worse places you could be. What you've seen here is the way that a people, a spirit, a community work together, grow together, stay together, all for a common cause. It's small town America, it's rural America, and it's farming. Whether you're growing food or anything else we need, out here, where the food comes from.
We are a member-driven nonprofit association of leaders from all facets of the produce industry.
Formed more than 20 years ago, we continue to promote the value of fresh fruits and vegetables in the Southeast through networking, innovation, community, and education.
Today, we are a thriving organization who continues to share and pursue our vision, mission, values, and goals.
We are the Southeast Produce Council.
For you, this isn't just a job, it's a way of life. At Farm Credit, your goal is our goal. We specialize in financing for land, farms, and homes for you. Committed to ag, committed to you.